The following episode of the Top Gun Show is being provided for the sales partners of NXTSYS as yet another valuable tool to help your customers make informed decisions. Enjoy.
Well, welcome to the Top Gun Show, Nexus style. Today I have on the show my good friend and colleague, Andy Potts, the Senior Product Specialist for our energy division at AppSmart. Prior to recently joining AppSmart, Andy has spent nearly a quarter of a century in energy with companies such as LG&E Energy, Duke Energy, Amerisco, and NUS Consulting Group. He's an accomplished energy management professional with a successful track record of managing the energy needs and spend for large, global, industrial, and commercial businesses. Andy, welcome back to the Top Gun Show.
Thanks, Steve. Glad to be back.
Well, in this special edition, strictly for the Nexus sales partners, I want you to give a brief overview of what we sell in the energy division of AppSmart through Nexus.
Absolutely, Steve. Be happy to do that. So currently right now in our portfolio of energy solutions that we have available to the Nexus partners, we have everything ranging from energy commodity procurement, electricity and natural gas in deregulated markets. We have efficiency services such as LED lighting, on-site solar, water optimization. We even have electric vehicle charging, which is becoming certainly a hotbed of a must-have for many verticals out there today, based on the evolution of the EV vehicle. So we have a very comprehensive list of energy solutions with a lot of different variety.
Yeah, that's great. Great overview. Well, you know, the sales partners of Nexus that are watching this are thinking, well, yeah, I mean, all my customers buy that stuff, but they view me as a network consultant or an MSP or, you know, a specialist in these areas. They're thinking, I don't really know that much about energy. What if the conversation opens up and I'm sitting there going, I don't understand really about this. Talk a little bit about how they can initially identify or an opportunity, or what kind of discovery question can they ask their customer?
Yeah, that's not a problem. And, it's a very common kind of situation that you just kind of rolled out there, that, yes, I'm an IT guy or I'm a telecom guy here, and I don't have any experience selling energy. So how do I even know what to be looking for? And the reality is, energy, it's one thing that's pretty universal, is it touches everything. It touches every business that you are effectively doing work for already. So the fact that energy already exists is something that gives it an added advantage for something to sell. Some of the questions that I think, especially recently, that advisors have been really kind of honing in on with different businesses that they're working with is, number one, is asking the business if they noticed the increase in energy commodity costs, because across the board, electricity and natural gas prices have been skyrocketing over the last year and change. And it's not just what's going on in Europe right now with Ukraine and Russia that are driving the rise higher. This was something that was already in the works for a while now. The situation in Europe right now is just enhancing that. So, a first easy question would be, have you noticed that your overhead expenses for energy are going up? The second question that we get a lot of traction on here is that, today more and more businesses are kind of embracing the environmental, social, and governance opportunities and sustainability. So a question could very well be, is your business looking at any sustainability or ESG efforts? Because energy efficiency ties into those metrics. And kind of the last one certainly could very well be, what is your strategy for energy going forward? Do you even have a strategy? These seem to be all very easy kind of softball questions, if you will, to ask somebody. And typically, a lot of people will have very easy answers for it, and it just helps kickstart the conversation.
Yeah, that's great. And the other thing that helps reduce the fear, and I've done this with a lot of my sales partners, is start with a friendly customer. You don't have to go out, hey, nice mug, man. I love the Top Gun Show coffee mug you got there.
Absolutely, love it.
You don't have to start with, a customer who's already, you don't have a great relationship. Start with somebody that you've been serving for a long time. Just go, hey, I'm with Nexus. We got this energy division through AppSmart. I want to kind of use you as a guinea pig. I want to see if I can save you some money or help lock in rates or whatever. It's not that hard to do. So what's the next step for the Nexus sales partner? What do they need from the customer to begin a quote? It can't be as easy as just getting a copy of an invoice, is it?
No, actually, Steve, it really is that easy. And that's one of the beautiful things of the energy is we are not asking telecom advisors to be experts on energy. That's not what you're going to be. What we're effectively looking to do is kind of get that warm open. And part of the evaluation process, probably even the most important evaluation aspect for us, is being able to have copies of the energy invoices, because we can glean a lot of information off that invoice. We can certainly look at their energy usage, their energy spends. We can see what utilities they're behind, what areas of the country they're in. So that way we can start to sculpt the various energy solutions that might be possible. When I look at an opportunity, I don't just look at it from a chance of doing just one thing. I look at it and say, okay, well, I've got this customer that is in a deregulated energy market. Great, that provides me with the opportunity to potentially look at either electricity and or natural gas procurement. I also look at that spend and say, wow, that is a customer that might benefit from reducing their consumption through LED lighting. Or maybe perhaps if they're big enough and they're in the right state, it could be, hey, this might be a good candidate for somebody to look at on-site solar generation. We just sold a very massive on-site solar deal that just closed this week. We've been working on it for a little while and finally got that one across the board. But it all stemmed from the advisor working with their customer to simply get the invoices and then allowing us to effectively try and craft the potential solution set that we can look at. So having an advisor who has never done energy before, we're not asking anybody to be an expert in energy. We're just looking for that warm introduction and the simple ask of already going to somebody who have a great relationship, asking the simple question about, hey, can you send us some of your invoices and we can see what we possibly can do for you. It's easy as that.
Yeah, that's cool. The other thing that makes it exciting is a lot of these MSPs, sales partners of Nexus or telecom advisors of Nexus, they have a lot of competition coming in the front door asking for internet connectivity or UCAS or CCAS. I mean, there's a long line of people that these sales partners of Nexus compete with. Not so in the energy. I mean, this is really only available through AppSmart, the partnership that Nexus has with AppSmart. So it's kind of fun not having a ton of competition coming in the front door asking the same questions that we're trying to train the Nexus sales partners to ask. So yeah, man, spot on. So now what? The customer gets the quote and they go, let's go forward with it. What's the order process?
It's really kind of dependent on solution. If we're talking an energy procurement type deal here, that's a very transactional deal, probably something that most telecom advisors are used to doing. It's a matter of getting a quote together. We have a very cool online energy procurement platform called Energize that we use, and we're able to generate instant quotes from the platform, derive electronic signatures for contract execution, all via the platform. So that can be something that can be extremely quick. If we're talking about maybe looking at a more in-depth project, when we have those invoices and we're doing the review and we kind of come back with a preliminary proposal or a preliminary idea of what a customer might be able to do, then we'll ask the advisors that just kind of set up a call, keep a call with the client and the customer, be the fly on the wall. We'll do all the talking and all the heavy lifting, but we want to be able to kind of let them know what we've uncovered and talk about it at a very high level. If it starts to move forward and snowball into a real possible solution that this customer wants to move forward with, then usually that'll involve one of our partners going on site to do maybe a site survey so we can get really more in depth on what the proposal will look like by looking at some of the nuances. Like, for example, for anybody who wants to do on-site solar, we can certainly have our providers, sculpt out a quote very easily just by having some very basic information. But if they're excited about potentially moving forward based on what we're able to tell them, then we need to talk about, okay, well, how old's the roof? Does the roof even support, putting on these solar panels? So we start to get into more granular type of details once we get further down the road. But again, these are all these are all questions, and these are all steps that are taken by the AppSmart and our provider teams. Nothing that the advisor effectively has to do on their own. We keep them in the loop the entire way, but we're managing all the heavy lifting on this side.
Yeah, you've always said that energy is the easiest thing to sell. It's much easier than selling telecom. So that's cool. Let's get down to the brass tacks. What does the sales partner get paid on some of these deals, and how do they get paid?
That's the great thing about it, is that, energy solutions are very commissionable. If we're talking energy procurement, the electricity and natural gas deregulation, then the amount of compensation that a advisor might see on that type of deal typically ranges anywhere from 5 to 15% of the deal structure, the deal cost. And that's more of a ongoing reoccurring commission. So if we did a 3-year electricity deal for somebody, for example, in Texas, then the value of that deal would have about a 5 to 15% comp rate on it, and then that advisor would be paid for 36-month reoccurring condition. And the cool thing about our energized platform is that not only are we doing the initial deal through the system, but the system with its AI technology is evaluating what the renewal deal might look like. So that way, if the market is presenting an opportunity for an early look at the renewal, the system presents that information to the advisor and says, hey, by the way, you still have 12 months left on this existing deal that you're in place right now for your customer, but something's going on in the market right now, and we think your customer should be looking at this renewal sooner rather than later. So the idea is to let the technology do the work and bring the advisor the update on the renewal to try and keep that elongated annuity going forward for the payment and commission aspect. If we're talking about a deal like on-site solar or something like that, okay, now we're getting into a more expensive type of project. The one we recently just closed just this week had a price tag of $2 million on it, and the commission rate that was payable to that is based on the value of the project at 3%. So that's a $60,000 payment, kind of done over a one-time payment to the advisor, just based on us helping them find that opportunity and put it together. LED lighting works in a similar fashion. It's not quite as expensive, but typically those projects range, $400,000 to $500,000, and that's paid about 12.5%. And again, that's more of that upfront one-time payment versus that annuity and reoccurring revenue. And then one of the biggest sellers we have right now has been the water optimization product. Very, very cool product, because to me, water is it's kind of like a forgotten utility. People are always talking about electricity. They're always talking about natural gas, but no one's really thinking they can do anything with water. And you know what? Yeah, for a long time, that was the case, is you really couldn't do anything with water. You can't shop for it because it's deregulated. The only thing you could effectively do is maybe try and control how much water you're consuming, which requires, some changes in behavior. However, thankfully, because technology has advanced, we have a partner that has a really cool water optimization product that goes into the pipe, that goes into a building, that automatically reduces the water usage by about 30%. Because guess what? When you have water that is going through a water meter that's being measured, about 30% of it is air. So the product we put in place removes the air, and that way the only metered volume that is being counted for is the pure water itself. So it's an instant savings opportunity for a customer. Very quick ROI. And a product like that pays 15% of the project cost. So again, another upfront payment, but something that has a very, very quick ROI. And just quite frankly, a lot of people have just ignored water for so long. Now they don't have to. It could be part of your energy efficiency and your energy conservation play. And lastly, one of the biggest items that we're seeing right now, certainly getting the most traction in this day and age here, especially with rising gasoline prices, is the EV charging stations. We've got a great EV charging solution that kind of encompasses not only the charging stations themselves, but also the SaaS software that allows these stations to talk to each other and tell the owner what the stations are doing, how often they're being charged, the hours of day, and really puts it underneath that pane of glass and allows the owner to manage and optimize those stations. Because we know the big EV push is coming. So now here, help building out the infrastructure, because so many verticals are going to have it and are having to adopt to it. The fact that gasoline prices are continuing to rise and rise really only helps the EV argument going forward. And more people are buying the EV vehicles. So this is kind of a great chance to get in there and start doing something that many verticals are already going to have to do and have already been thinking about. They just don't know who to turn to.
Yeah, that's exciting, man. You covered a lot of ground. You covered a lot of ground there, and that's all good stuff. But come on now. I mean, how easy is it really? Can talk about a recent win.
So it's going to blow your mind. So we had a very large private and I would say well-known university here in the North Carolina area where I am, that a telecom advisor was talking to a facilities person internally about some other solutions, and simply asked the question, can I see your invoices? And have you guys ever thought about doing things like LED lighting or anything like that? Turns out they were just in the process of starting to evaluate a first phase of an LED a project program. We were able to get in and be a part of that first phase and ended up winning the business. And that was a $400,000 deal. And now we're in phases 2 and 3 of that deal. And it's a $1.5 million deal additional from the phases 2 and 3 as they move forward with the university and start to do the LED lighting upgrades in different areas. And this all came about because the advisor simply asked, can I see your invoices? And have you guys been thinking about any projects lately? Because I've got solutions now that we can help with. Boom, that's it.
Yeah, I heard that story that the telecom advisor was walking out to the car in the parking lot and just happened to, oh, I went through an AppSmart training. I should probably ask this, and ask the question, what projects do you got going on the way out to the car?
On the way out to the car, like you said, he had sat through a lot of the trainings that we had done, and like I said, it's something just clicked when he realized that, yes, I should be asking these questions because I really want to get into the energy solution sales. And now that I've got all these solutions kind of in my quiver, if you will, of stuff that I can be offering to my existing customers, it's a simple ask. So yeah, just by him taking that extra moment to ask the questions, sparked this whole what will now be almost a $2 million project just from a simple conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to say which university it was, but Dick Vitale would love this. I mean, he loves this school.
let's just say it's a very well-known basketball institution. How about that?
And they're still in the tournament right now.
And they're still in the tournament right now. Yes, yeah. And a very legendary coach is at the helm.
Yeah. Well, this is great, Andy. I mean, you really did a great job of giving a fantastic overview of our energy division. It's exclusive to AppSmart. It covers a variety of topics, and you don't need to be an expert. We'll do the heavy lifting. I mean, this is exciting stuff, man. Any last minute tips that you want to give before we sign off?
For me, I'm super excited to talk about energy, and I'll talk about it all the time, as you know here. But it's one of those things where it's so top of mind for people right now. I mean, energy is so hot right now, is that it's almost impossible not to have a conversation about it. So it makes, for an advisor who's never done energy before, it's not like you're traveling to a world of unknown because everybody's talking about energy.
Speaking of energy, you got great energy, Andy.
Thank you, Steve. I love what I do. I love the industry that I'm in and this here. So it's just been a great natural fit for me for my career.
Yeah, and actually, as exciting as you are and passionate as you are right now about this and educating the NXTSYS sales partners, I've seen you. You do even better in front of the customer. I mean, because that guy or gal, they talk energy all day long. They understand this stuff. So there's no better place for Andy Potts than to be in front of a customer talking about energy.
And I'm happy to do that. Put me in front of people, and like I said, we'll get deals done.
Yeah. Well, sales partners of NXTSYS, I want to thank you for watching this video. For more information, reach out to your channel manager at NXTSYS, and they can connect you to Andy Potts, our energy division, and help you guide you through the process. Andy, thanks again for being on the show today, and thanks for watching, everybody.
Steve, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate it, and we'll hopefully talk again soon.
Happy selling.
You as well.